Hi, Alyson Stanfield here with Art Biz Success and the Art Biz podcast. You're watching a video version of the podcast. It's episode 194 if you prefer to listen. My guest for this episode is Monique Carr. She's a private client and a longtime member of our community. Monique came to me a couple of years ago for a private coaching relationship. And she had a new motto that was guiding everything she did because she was suffering from burnout. Her motto, do half the work, make twice the money, and have fun in everything I do. She's still working toward it, and she's going to tell you how in this episode of The Art Biz. Hi, Monique. Welcome to The Art Biz.
Hey, hi, Alyson, for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here. You took my courses starting in 2020 when I was doing the teaching summit. You were transitioning because of COVID to online teaching. And then we had a private coaching partnership starting in 2022. And I love what you said when you reached out to me. You said you wanted to do half the work, make twice the money, and have fun in whatever you do.
That's right. And that quote is pinned on my board here, and I have to read that every morning because, it's not easy. And I had this motto because I was working so hard. I was working like 7 days a week and crazy hours. I was just so tired, and I felt that I was not making enough money, and I was getting frustrated. And I decided, wait a minute, I have to fix that. So this is when I came up with this motto. Actually, I wrote it with my husband because he was getting frustrated of having me working so hard. And it's a work in progress for sure.
Yeah. So half the work, twice the money, and have fun in whatever you do. I love that. And we're going to return to see how you're doing with that in just a minute. But because we've been working together more closely for a couple of years, I have to tell you, because I don't think I've told you this before, that you are a dream client. You are so open to doing things differently and experimenting. You pick things up really quickly. You're not afraid of technology. You never complain. You just do it. It's amazing. You know what you want to happen, and then you just figure out a way to make it happen. And that's just, who you are. But I just want to tell you that that's not very common, because on top of all that, you're positive. You're extremely positive. You're such a joy to work with. Whenever we get off of a call, I'm just so happy because you're so happy.
I'm glad to hear that.
So I just wanted to say thank you publicly for that. Let's take us back to before you came up with the motto and you were working so hard, but how did you get to that point? What's a brief history of your journey to that point?
Well, as you can tell by my accent, I'm a French Canadian, so I was born and raised in Montreal, Canada. And I did 1 year in fine art in college, but my parents were not agreeing with this field, I guess, because of the starving artist thing. So the closest field I could be still creative was in graphic design. So I graduated as a graphic designer, and I worked in that field for 20 years plus. But I have to say briefly that in 1989, I moved to the Cayman Islands, and I work in a big retail firm. They had 32 retail stores in Grand Cayman, and I work in their marketing department as a graphic designer. And this is where I met my husband also in the Cayman Islands. And you'll see why I'm saying that, because now I live in Johnson City, Tennessee. This is where my husband is from. And we moved here when my son was about 6 years old. And I had kept my job from the Caymans because the internet became really big back then. And so we moved in 1998. And I was still doing my graphic design work. And then the company in the Cayman got sold, and that caused the loss of my job. However, it was a real blessing because this is when that was in 2008 that I decided to start my art journey. And with the support of my husband, that's what I did. And I took many workshops and I carved my craft little by little, and started doing portraits and plein air. And I was learning the very traditional way. And I was not very happy with the doing the portrait because it was very stressful. And I came from this the graphic design business that was very stressful as well. I wanted something more relaxed or that I am more fun at it. So this is when I decided to start learning abstract. And so I took more workshop in abstract. And so I had to learn about acrylic paint. I never touched acrylic before, so it was a huge investment. So I had to keep going in that field. And so when I start including the abstractness in my landscape and my florals, both together really became what is my style today. And so this is when I also started showing in galleries and winning awards. So that was a huge thing for me when I started touching abstract work.
Yeah, what year was that?
That was in 2015
Okay.
when I started doing abstract. So it's almost 10 years now.
Okay. And then when did you start teaching?
I started teaching about 2 years after starting this journey. So I started in 2008, this journey. So in 2010, I started teaching in a senior center. And so I started that little by little. And then I started growing. And this is when I realized that I really like teaching. And then I start having a group here in my town, some regular students that were coming. So I form a group and I grew my student list. And yeah, that's how it happened.
So I imagine that you are such a great teacher because you love it. You really want your students to succeed, and I imagine you're very nurturing to them, and they're very lucky for that. And very positive. I bet you're very positive with them, which is
Yeah. Well, I was very fortunate to have some really good instructors. So I want to kind of return the favor. So I feel that it's my duty now to pass it on to others.
I love that. I love that. So, what are your current income streams and the percentage of each? I love this question.
Right. So I have two branches. One is teaching and one is the sale of my paintings. So the teaching is 60% of my income and the sales of my painting is 40%. But in the teaching, I have now two branches. I have the online teaching and the in-person teaching. So the online is 45% of my income and the in-person is 15%. And the selling of my paintings is 40% of my income.
Okay. Okay. And most of those are sold through galleries, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sell mainly through galleries. Yeah. Very rarely I will sell it on my own. So it's all galleries.
So just briefly, last year, I believe, is the first time you did it on your own, right?
Yes. And
Because you did the money plan with me.
I did the money plan. That was a big thing and we did that in
September.
mid-September. And so I realized by doing that my sales were way off compared to the previous year of about, I would say, 15%. And so we were almost the end of the September. And then
I'm sorry, just a second. Your sales from galleries, so your sales of original work were off by 15%.
compared to previous years. Yeah. So I knew I had to do something before the end of the year, and I did not have a lot of time. And I knew I did not have any shows, solo show. I did not have anything special that I could increase that in galleries. So I decided, well, I need to do something on my own. I need to sell something. So I decided to create an event. And what I could think of was, so we were like late September. I knew Thanksgiving was coming. So Black Friday was the event I was thinking that I could make it work. But I had no idea. I have no experience in selling on my own. So I had to call you and ask you if you would coach me and help me with that. So
We came
that's
up with
what
a
you did.
plan. You did
Yes.
okay. And can we just say briefly, I think you had a goal of selling 10,000 for that, and you sold 13?
13,000
Yeah.
in a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but after all my expenses, what I clear was that $10,000 that was like I was so happy.
Yeah.
That was a good experience also. So now I know I can do it because I had to implement a few things.
Right. Well, and you had to have a conversation with your gallery ahead of time, correct? Galleries.
That's correct. Yes. So I mentioned that to them, and we agreed that I would not use social media to advertise or promote this sale because they didn't want to conflict with the sale inside of their gallery because I was offering some discount that that they were not doing in the store in the gallery. So I had to do that to use my list. So they were okay if I would use only my email list. That's what I did.
Yeah. I think it's important to mention that because you don't want to mess up those relationships. And I knew you didn't. You really value the relationships with your galleries. And that's so important because they do otherwise. Even though the last year was a down year, you have a good relationship with them that you want to keep.
That's right.
Yeah. So back to the motto, half the work, twice the money, and have fun in whatever I do. How are you doing on that?
Well, as I said, I have to remind myself every day because, this art business is not always easy. So, and I have to remember to have fun. It's very important for me to, and it shows in my work. It shows if I teach. So I have to really implement that. And to twice the money, I look there because it's on my board there. So the money in work, that's me. I had to work smarter.
Yeah, because you couldn't
And-
work any harder. There was no way you could work
Right.
harder.
I
Yeah.
had to work smarter. And by taking your courses, the planning session, that helped me so much to have a plan. And actually, I have that. I don't know if people don't see it, but I'm just going to show how it looks. And when put the little
Post-it notes?
here, and when it's done, it goes at the back. So already all that done from the
Oh.
first quarter.
So
year.
it's kind of,
So-
for people who can't see it, it's kind of like a Kanban board, but it's just the front and back of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And the front is,
It's your form, your sheet that I printed from your class.
I see underneath it, I see the yellow boxes underneath
Yeah.
it. And yeah, and so you, and then you use Post-it notes on top of the yellow boxes so that you can move them around. Yeah, I
Right.
love it. Then you don't have to keep wasting paper. Perfect. I love that. I'm going to have to get a picture of that and share it with my planning session
So-
people.
And by getting more organized, then I can plan better and I can achieve my goals faster. And I know what I'm doing, and it's not like wasting my time, on looking to social media or just. So when I'm there in the morning, I know exactly what I need to do to accomplish for that day. So I'm, smart with my time. And also I try to also paint larger because larger painting sell for more money. So, and the amount of time that you paint larger versus a smaller, it's almost the same. Painting larger also is a way for me to improve my income.
It also, I like to say that also it takes just as much time to sell a big painting as it does to sell a small painting. So you might as well try to sell the big ones.
I still have some smaller,
Yeah.
just, for the in
Yeah.
between the client that, want a painting but cannot afford big price. So I always can afford show a few smaller pieces, but the most of them are bigger. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really nice. I do hope people watch the video of this eventually when I get it up and see your paintings behind you. So how about twice the money? Has your income been increasing? You did have a slow sales last year, but
Last year, yeah. And I'm not sure why. The galleries, everybody said that there was a down in the sales.
yes.
So I don't feel that personal. So it was across the board, it seems like. Um, but generally, like this year, I had a solo show in April. So that was really at the beginning of the year for me. Usually my big things happen more in the fall. So that was a good thing to have that at the beginning of the year. So I have that. So that's a good start. Also, a lot of teaching. The first part of this year's been nonstop. I've been traveling and shows, and it's like nonstop. So now I just got back from a workshop in Tuscany, Italy, just 10 days ago. I just now get back on my feet, and jet lag is over, and finally I can start painting again in my studio, and I'm having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. I don't know if it's possible for you to do half the work because I think you really love your work.
Yes, it's not really about half the work. It's more like being smarter with my time. So don't waste my time with things that doesn't matter,
Right.
So that's basically what it is.
Right.
And that made a difference when I start planning properly and put my things on calendar. And so, yeah, more organized. Thanks to you.
Well, I'm honored. As I said, I think you have it in you because you're really easy to coach, but it's really fun to figure out these tactics and strategies with you. What do you feel like your biggest accomplishments have been from the last few years?
Oh, but for sure, my online courses, that's huge for me. And I started that in March 2020 because of the pandemic. I knew I was losing that in-person teaching income, so I had to do something about it. And I start looking into it, and that's where I found you. And you were doing these webinars, and I started my first online course, and then I got 3 by the summer, and I launched it, and then I added another one, and now I have 5, and that's huge for me, that income. So, yeah.
Are those courses all evergreen? Like anyone can sign up whenever they want?
Yeah.
How
It's pre-recorded.
pre-recorded? How do people find those courses?
They can go on my website. It's there, and but it's I on Facebook and Instagram. I'm constantly reminding people, and also every time I have a new subscriber, it goes into a chain of drop marketing that we work together. And they eventually learn that I'm in that they can purchase from me a online course if they wish to. So
Yeah, because one of the things that happens when you have an evergreen course is it sounds like, make money while you sleep, but when you have an evergreen course, you have to keep reminding people that it's out there. It doesn't have a start date and an end date. It is constant.
I have I have to steer the soup all the time. I have to do something about it all the time because if I don't, there's no sale.
Yeah.
If I do, there's sales. So
Yeah.
I know.
But what you were saying is we work together to create a back end. I hate the word funnel, but it was a customer journey so that you could invite people. You have a free course that people can take, and then you can invite them to upgrade to pay courses. And then you started bundling the courses so they can do that. So the course prices, remind me, they range from
Between 125 to 165, in that range.
okay. I recall that I think we upped your prices too, if I recall.
Well, what I do is I add the project from time to time. So I increase the price every time I add a project. So that's what I do to increase the price of the courses.
You're increasing the value, so you're updating the same course, but you're just adding value to it. So why not increase the price?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I am in production right now for the sixth one, and it will be launched in August.
Okay. Oh, do you
That's
want to let us in on what the topic is?
Yeah, it's going to be an abstract course. A lot of my students ask me, please, can you teach us abstract so we can understand better what's behind, my brain, basically.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. Be a lot of fun.
Okay. The other thing you did is you switched over to MailChimp. I think you were using Fazzo email before that, which you love your Fazzo website, which is gorgeous.
Right. Yeah. And but I did not know anything about MailChimp until you start telling me more about it. And it was, I think it was a segment thing that they did not have. It was not as the technology behind the email system in Fazzo is not as powerful as MailChimp.
Yeah.
So I switched over and I did my pop up
on your website for people to sign up.
And so when I did the switch, I had about 900 and something subscribers with Fazzo, and today, and it's been 2 years, so it was in 2022, I believe, when I did the switch, April 2022. So it's been 2 years, and now I have over 2,500 subscribers. So
yeah, so you've more than doubled it. But can we say, so you added the pop-up. Did you have a free course before that also? No, so you added the free course also. So you can attribute part of it to the pop-up, but also the free course is also another way to get.
Thank you. It's play a role in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You also have on your sign-up form on your website, I don't know about the pop-up because I didn't see it. But on the sign-up form that's just on your website, it asks people if they're interested in art or your courses.
So I know if they are a collector or they are an artist. So I can segment that. So I'm not going to send to a collector about my online course. So I don't want to bother people, the wrong way. So I want to make sure that I target the people for my newsletter, the right way.
Yeah. Do you, what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you if people could sign up for both. Can they click on both? Yeah, they can
absolutely
sign up for both.
Absolutely.
So does that mean you send more than one email? You have a collector's newsletter and you have a student newsletter, or?
And I have a generic. I have one that's generic that I'm next week I'm going to write one and send one. It's going to be my second one. I do that quarterly.
Okay.
For the generic one, just to tell my subscribers about what happened, to me in the last 3 months, and things that's coming up, like if I have a show or it's not really something that I'm not going to sell anything. It's purely news,
Yeah.
my news. But I do send in between. For example, I'm going to launch this new online course. So I will send that to the artists or my online students. And of course, my current students or the alumni will have a little discount. So I will send that just for them. And then I will have another email for the artists that are not in my online course yet.
Okay, let's go over that again. First of all, I don't like the word generic, and then maybe this is lost in translation. But the reason I don't like it is because you're anything but generic. It's I would call it a love letter, like a general like news letter. But you're saying it's for everyone. Like anyone, it would be pertinent to anyone. So you send that quarterly, and then you send when you have a new course or something live that's you'll send that separately.
Yes.
And you'll segment it, and then one segment goes to alumni where they can get a discount for the course, and then the other one goes to the others on the list that have identified as artists.
Yeah. Correct.
And then when do you email collectors differently? How do you use that list?
I have a show for sure. They will know. Or if I have a special sale like I had last Black Friday, that was very handy to have this collector list, so I could send specifically to these people, the collectors. So that was very good to know. Good information for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So because we brought it up, you use MailChimp for your email. I think you use Teachable for your courses.
Yes, that's a platform for the course. That's correct.
You use Fazo for your website.
Correct.
And what am I forgetting? What else do you use? What other tools? Well, your shopping cart, because you had to figure all that out when you did your Black Friday sale.
Right. Faso has a way to implement a shopping cart and it's an integration, and it's there. It was very easy. So I did that through Faso. So that was good. And I send my email through MailChimp.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did you have to do anything else for that sale that wasn't necessarily just for that sale, but in order for you to sell on your own? I think you had to learn about shipping, if I recall.
Yeah, absolutely. I did had to learn about packaging, shipping, of course, and all that. I had to learn all that.
But you're ready to.
But now
you're ready to go. Yeah. And I love that you're not doing that all the time, because the galleries, and as I recall, also the work that you put in that sale was work that didn't sell at the gallery. So the galleries had already had their chance at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the things that been returned through the years that was taking so much space in my home, my closet, I couldn't walk in there. So I need to clear and I need to make money. So I was like, let's make a sale. Yeah. And it worked out, actually. It did well. Thanks to my list, because I have to see this is so important. And that's what you're emphasizing also in your courses, your list. And it is so important to have it. And even the short list, my list that of people that had bought my paintings before, I had maybe 20 people on that list. And these people, I sent an email, not using MailChimp. I sent an email using my regular email system to make it more personal. And I did sell 4 paintings through my short list of 20 people.
Wow. Yeah.
It was a good thing to have.
That's a really good return on that.
Yeah.
So that's great. So you've got all this going on. You've got your classes, your retreat or your painting jaunts to Provence and to Tuscany,
Sure.
and your galleries and your painting. And one thing that I love about you is doesn't happen always with teachers. A lot of times artists will take up teaching and they give up their art. But I think it's so
Yeah.
important to continue with with learning for yourself and continuing to hone your craft so that you are a good example for your teachers, for your students. How do you fit it all in? So let's talk about your schedule.
This is my calendar, and there's a square, and I put painting day.
Uh-huh.
Don't bother me. Nobody can call me. Nobody. It's my day. So this is the only thing I'm gonna do today. It's painting day. Where? And it's because I do the planning session, and it's in here, and it's in other places. So I know I have a deadline to deliver some painting to the gallery. So I know I have to block some time in my calendar.
Yeah.
And so this is my time, and I'm not gonna do dinner tonight. I put my daughter on it actually. So today was a painting thing, and of course I had the time to spend with you, which is awesome. I really appreciate that.
Well, I'm
You,
honored that you took the time out of your painting day to be on the podcast, but we'll tell everyone that we're recording this at the very end of the day. So you hopefully had a full painting day before now.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, because for me it's 4:30.
Yeah.
So,
So
but I'll go paint again after.
how do you fit everything else in? How do you family, like give us a typical day or week if you have such a thing.
Yes. So now my children are grown, so it's a lot less to do. But my day is I start with yoga. It's very important to stay healthy and fit. So I do my yoga and my walk around the block with my dog. And then I start the day, and I paint usually. If I paint, it's till 4:30. Then I have to think about dinner. Um, then I stop to do dinner, and usually after dinner, my husband is cleaning, and I come back downstairs. The downstairs is where you see here. It's the downstairs of the house. The kitchen is up here. So that's the routine. That's the day, and yeah.
What about mention anything about the business stuff though? So when does the writing and the marketing and the Instagram posts, when does all that happen?
Well, when it's not a painting day during my week, I have some days that I will have a write up for my newsletter, for instance. It's on my calendar. I know exactly when it's going to be, so I'm not going to worry about it until that day. Then the posts, I do sometime that on Saturdays. I will plan my post on Saturday and Sunday. So that's kind of the day for that. And I try to not worry too much during the week. But during the week, I do. However, when I paint, I have my camera there because I'm thinking of the reels and the posts.
Yeah.
So some shots here and there for that purpose.
Oh, good. Good. That's a really good practice to be in. Monique, what is coming up next? You just got back from Tuscany. What's your next trip for students?
Next year, 2025, it's going to be in the fall, in October. It's on my website, and it's just incredible 10 days paint with me. And
Where?
In Tuscany, in Lucca. It's just fabulous. The hosts are just incredible. It's just wonderful. And you can go, if people are interested, they can look on my website. All the information is there, and it's just lovely. So I'm looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then you have your 6th class on abstraction will start in August. You expect to go live with that in August. Is there anything else you're looking forward to? Not that you need anything else, but
I'm looking forward just to have some time at home. Finally, I'm at home, and just paint and get back to my routine. That's what I'm looking for, just to get back to my routine. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It is so nice. That's like the one thing that I miss when I travel is routine. I just get so discombobulated. So I'm glad that you can have that. Enjoy this. Thank you so much for sharing with me and with all of the listeners and potential viewers in the future.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you and to your people.
Hey, thanks for watching this video version of the Art Biz. Please check out the description for the show notes below. I've included the links for Monique and for me, and also for how you can work with me at Art Biz Success. And we can try to help you do half the work, make twice the money, and have more fun.